All good things must come to an end, and unfortunately, this is the end for the Sandman series. Man, definitely got to talk about season 2, part 2. These final episodes were heavy, and it's so crazy because looking back at it, it's like part 1 was Dream really reflecting on his life. Now part 2, Dream is reflecting on his death. And so we pick up right where episode 6 left off, where Dream goes to confront the kindly ones about what he has done with his son. And because he drew family blood, now that means, you know what I'm saying, you gotta go. And you know what I'm saying, everything that was going on with Dream here was really dope. Really fucking dope. And what I really like about this series is just the conversations characters have and just their insight. You know, we go from, Dream reflecting, like I said, on his life, now reflecting on just the consequences of his actions and him going to Time, his father, and going to Night, and them not giving a fuck. While that's going on with Dream, you know what I'm saying, we have Loki scheming with Puck. Puck is another kind of schemer. He comes from the world of the fairy world and stuff like that. And you know what I'm saying, you have this baby, Daniel, which he plays a very important role in the overall story and just these main episodes in general. And while that's going on, you have other characters like Nula. She's trying to form an army, you know what I'm saying, to help Dream combat the Furies, or the kindly ones. And I really enjoyed watching that build up while we see Dream kind of just visit all these different people. Like, he goes to his siblings and he's just kind of, he's almost not lost, but he's, kind of coming to terms with just his actions and trying to look for answers. And also with the fact that Daniel ends up getting snatched up by Loki, that becomes a whole plot in this part 2. But when you realize that Loki's actually somewhat helping Daniel, but also kind of screwing over Dream because he doesn't want to feel obligated to Dream at all for anything, for any reason. That was a really interesting kind of dynamic here. And it made me feel like, man, they could have definitely did another season because this was so much, but I feel like the way that it ended was fitting. Like I said, Dream is pretty much going on like a goodbye tour, and even going as far as waking up Alex Birch's, and going to visit Hob, telling him like, yo, this might be the last time we see each other. So after he gets done his like goodbye tour, he has to kind of deal with the whole Loki situation. So how he goes about doing that is he brings back the Corinthian, but only like gives him a fraction of his memory, but it's a pretty much a brand new Corinthian, and also gets Constantine and tells Constantine and Corinthian to pretty much team up to go find Daniel, his locations. Odin is also on their ass too. He's kind of just watching, from afar and whatnot. But as this stuff is constantly going on, Loki is just scheming. He's killing people. He killed Shore. He's killing all these people and stuff like that. And Dream is still having to go on his like kind of goodbye tour, but also kind of dealing with this Loki situation with Daniel and whatnot. But then it gets kind of crazier where Lyta ends up getting involved with all this, and the kind ones use her as like a pretty much like a pawn. So all of this was kind of like a plan to kind of get rid of Dream. in some way or fashion, you know what I'm saying? But it was always going to be destined for him to kind of be in this position. Because even when he went to Time, and Time was like, yeah, what do you want from me? Do you want me to just kind of reverse time? Because there's no changing what's going to happen to, what is his name, Orpheus or something like that. And then he goes to Night, and Night pretty much tells him the same thing. And it's just so interesting to kind of see how Dream's parents are and how that has affected him and also his siblings. But now also you're seeing Dream change, you know what I'm saying, completely, and having this kind of revelation that, like, he, and these regrets and trying to make things right, you know, atonement before he goes. And that whole thing, the whole face off with the kindly ones was really dope. Having them use Lyta as kind of like an avatar to destroy the dream realm was really cool. She goes to kill like Gilbert first, and then she goes to get Murph and all of them, bro. Like, he just starts to level everything, and it's almost looking like a nightmare scene. But then, you know, Dream and Death finally have that moment, and Dream pretty much accepts his fate. And now that he's gone, Daniel becomes the new Dream of the Endless. And when we get to the end, we see he has to kind of deal with that void that was left by the original Dream. A lot of people are not rocking with him. Some people are okay with it. Even him having him going back and bringing all the fallen dreams back to life, and him having that conversation with Gilbert, telling him like, yo, I'm dead. You trying to bring back Dream or bring us back, it kind of makes our sacrifices meaningless. And I really like Gilbert. I feel like he's a really underrated character for sure. But like I said, you know, after the whole conflict with the kindly ones gets done, it's pretty much just a funeral for like the final episode. Everybody from the series that we have met up until this point pulls up and pays their respect to Dream. The only one that doesn't actually go to attend the actual funeral, but he does show up, is Destruction. And Destruction gives the new Daniel a lot of crucial information and a lot of like really good advice, and telling him like, yo, you could leave this place whenever you want. You know what I'm saying? It'll just be ongoing. And Daniel's pretty much like, nah, I'm not gonna go nowhere, but you know, you're always welcome to come back. And that was a really touching moment. I really like what all the different the different siblings had to say. I think I like Despair and what he had to say. Not Despair, but Desire. I think what Desire had to say about Dream was really emotional. But yeah, it's just how everybody kind of was reflecting on their brother, on somebody that they lost. And it just kind of to show you that just because they're endless, they're these entities, they do kind of have a little bit more humanity than somebody like Time or even Night. And Dream's death has definitely changed everybody and everything. And damn, man, I just can't believe that this show is over, man, because this world and these characters are so rich. And you know what I'm saying? I like how the final scene is Daniel meeting all his other siblings, and you see fucking Destiny of all people smiling. And that's how you know that everything that Dream has done up until this point, he has had an effect on people. And even after his death, it's for the better, to be honest, because now everybody has kind of changed. Lyta is able to kind of make things right between her and Daniel, you know what I'm saying? And even with Hob, where Hob was like, yo, like giving him that kind of same deal that he had with the original Dream, saying like, hey, we could talk about this in 100 years and whatnot. Just a lot of really dope moments. Even the conversation between Death and Hob, that was really cool because I thought he was gonna be like, all right, I'm ready to go, but now he's still he still want to be alive, and he still wants to live life. And you know what I'm saying, it's just a really beautiful ending to an amazing show that I want more of. You know what I'm saying, these characters are so dope, and just how this is all like just been about family at the core of it, and humanity, and what that means to be human. Really dope. But I want to know your thoughts on this final season as a whole. Let me know in the comments below. Till next time, I'm out.